Hi everybody, this is a SolidWorks walkthrough of the temperature probe we're building as part of the BMES mini project series of winter quarter. We'll first create a part file and then at the bottom right corner make sure that it is in mmgs or millimeter. The next thing to do is to click on the top plane and create a sketch, and then use the center rectangle tool starting at the origin to build your rectangle. Then using the smart dimension tool, select an edge and then change the dimensions as seen here in the video, and then you'll do that for both of the edges of the rectangle. Once your rectangle is fully defined, change into the Features tab, select Extrude Boss Base and change the value to 10 millimeter. Once you extrude, click on the scroll wheel of your mouse and then go to the bottom face of this rectangle, go into Sketch, and create another center rectangle starting from the origin, going out. Use the Smart Dimension again to define the edges of your rectangle. Then in the same sketch, use the center rectangle tool again, centered at the origin, to create another rectangle for a total of 2. And then use the Smart Dimension tool to define it as seen in this video. Go into the Features tab and again use the Extrude Boss Base tool. Make sure that the direction of your extrusion is correct by clicking that arrow and then change the dimension. Using your scroll wheel to rotate, select the face as seen in this video and then click on Sketch, and using the corner rectangle tool to create a rectangle that is coincident or touching the top edge as seen, and then use the Smart Dimension tool to define your rectangle. Now we want to make sure that the rectangle is fixed to the center, so what we'll do is exit out of Smart Dimension and then right click on that top edge of the rectangle, select midpoint, hold Control and select the origin, click vertical to add relation and your rectangle should be fixed. Then go into the Features tab, select Extruded Cut and select up to next for the option of cutting through. Then we'll use the Fillet tool in the Features tab to round out the corner of the rectangle we just cut out, and we'll select on the corner and change the amount to 0.5 millimeter. Using your scroll wheel to rotate, select the face as shown in the video and create a rectangle using the corner tool. Use Smart Dimension to define the width and length of the rectangle. And then select the top edge of the rectangle with the top edge of the larger box. And set that to 0.4 millimeter. Exit out of Smart Dimension, right click on that top edge, select midpoint, and then hold Control while selecting the origin, then click vertical in order to fix our rectangle. Using the Extrude Cut tool, we'll change the type to blind, and then set our value to 0.4 millimeter. Left click the Cut Extrude feature, Mirror. For Mirror Face/Plane, click the drop down menu and select the front plane as what will be mirroring across. Save your part as an SLDPRT file with your UCI net ID _ the part number, and then upload the parts to our Google Drive linked on our link tree. Create another part in MMGS and use the center rectangle tool on the top plane to create our rectangle. Then use the smart dimension to define it as seen in this video. Use the extrude boss base feature to extend our rectangle to 23 mm. Select the top face of this box for our next sketch. Use the center rectangle tool centered at the origin to create a 52 by 32 mm rectangle. Use the extrude cut feature in order to cut into our rectangle. Make sure that it is facing the correct way by selecting that arrow as seen in the video and changing the value to 20 mm. Again, we'll select the top face of our box to create another sketch. Use the center rectangle tool centered at the origin to create another rectangle and define it as usual. We'll use the extrude cut feature on the sketch that we just made and change that value to 3 mm. We'll select the face as seen in this video for our next sketch and use the center point arc for our semicircle. Click on the midpoint of our rectangle as the center of our semicircle. Go to the left to create the radius and then circle an arbitrary amount. Then use the smart dimension tool to define the radius, and we will use the extrude cut feature to cut through all for this shape. Select the face as seen for our next sketch. Use the corner rectangle tool to create a rectangle that is coincident with the top or touching the top. And use the smart dimension tool to define our shape. Exit out smart dimension while still staying on our sketch. Right click the top edge of the smaller rectangle, select midpoint, and select the origin point to create a vertical relation. Use the tangent arc tool to create a semicircle, then go into trim entities, hold down on your left click, and get rid of that line between the rectangle and the semicircle. Use extrude cut blind at 2 mm to create our shape. Use a scroll wheel to select the bottom face of the box for a sketch. Using a corner rectangle tool, create a rectangle and smart dimension it as 10.50 by 3 mm. Right click on the left edge, select the midpoint, and select the origin point to create a horizontal relation. We'll smart dimension the left edge of this new rectangle with the left edge of the box as 11.25. Create an extruded cut of this sketch all the way through the box. Create another part in MMGS and use the center rectangle tool on the top plane to create our rectangle, then use the smart dimension to define it as seen in this video. With the sketch on the top face of this rectangle, use the line tool to create a C shape as seen, and make sure that all your lines are snapped perpendicular and parallel to each other. Hold Ctrl while selecting the corresponding lines for this section and add the equal relation. Use Smart Dimension to define the very top line as 51.90 mm, the very right side as 3 mm, the most left side as 31.4 mm, while the inner vertical line is 3 mm away from the left vertical line. Exit Smart Dimension, right-click on the inner vertical line to select midpoint, and hold Ctrl to select the origin to create a horizontal relation. Smart Dimension the left line of the C shape to the left line of the box as 1 mm. Extrude the sketch by 1.5 mm. Using the fillet tool, select the corner edges as seen and add a radius of 1.5 mm. With a sketch on this top face, we will create a corner rectangle that is 3 mm by 4.6 mm and have it be 12.5 mm from the right edge and 9 mm from the top edge. Then use the cut extrude feature to cut all the way through and add a fillet of 1.5 mm to the inner corner of this rectangle. With a sketch on this face, create a circle that is 3 mm in diameter and is 10 away from the bottom edge, while it is 5 mm away from the right edge. Extrude this out by 1.5 mm. Create another sketch, this time adding a circle that is centered with the circle we last created, then make the radius 6.5 millimeter. From there, use a line tool, coincide it with the circle that we just made to some arbitrary length. Make sure that it is horizontal and press escape to stop using the tool. Create another line that is parallel to that and also coinciding with the circle below. Then Control select the two lines and make them equal to each other with the relation. Define the lines as 2.5 millimeter. Control to select the two dots that are coincide with the larger circle and make them vertical to each other. Then Control select the three items that we just made and offset entity by 0.25 millimeter. As you can see, the lines are still not fixed, so we will select the point coinciding with the circle and set it to be 3 millimeter away from the center of the circle. Use the line tool to close off the shape. Then you can use the extrude cut tool to cut it all the way through the surface. Control select the last two features that we just made, ensuring that the features to mirror are correct. Then in mirror face / plane, select the drop down menu and mirror it across the front plane. To create a snap fit notch, we will select the right plane as our sketch. And use the line tool coinciding with the surface to make this shape. Then Control hold the respective lines here to make them equal to each other. Using the Smart Dimension tool, the rightmost side of the shape will be 0.4 millimeter. The top section will be 0.18 millimeter. This angled side will be 0.17 millimeter, and make sure that the Smart Dimension tool that you're using is angled correctly. This very left side will be 0.16 millimeter, and the very bottom edge will be 0.4 millimeter away from the top surface of that face right there. Then go into Features, Extrude Boss Base, and we will select the mid-plane option, making our shape 33.30 millimeter long. Select the Boss Extrude feature that we just made and click the mirror option. For mirror face and plane, we will mirror this across the front plane. The very last thing to do is to create this rectangle cutout. We'll use the corner rectangle tool to create a rectangle that is coincident with the right side of the shape. And then right-click the left edge of this rectangle, select midpoint, and select the origin to create a horizontal relation. Use the Smart Dimension tool to define this rectangle, and we'll extrude cut this rectangle in by 0.4 millimeter.